Good morning. It is Monday, December 16th. We're halfway through December. So you have what? 10 trading days left, 11 trading days, something like that in the new year. So I've got a big show. So it's a single stock heavy focus show. The first thing we're going to go over is the S&P forecasts that are going up as we speak. I'll look back at last year. I released my predictions. We'll go over that. We will also go over this week. The Santa Claus rally and the Fed are this week. Microstrategy was added to the NASDAQ 100. We'll go over that one because if you have the 4-hour algorithm, you are happy if you bought in. Like I said last week, Microstrategy could go up and it's flying. Palantir was also added. We are going to go over the top stocks in 2023 and 2024, what you can buy now. I'm going to go over them individually. There's probably 11 stocks here that actually look really, really good that you could continue to buy. We're also going to go over a couple of stocks from Tip Ranks, their top pick that I like, top pick from Morgan Stanley, top pick from Bank of America, and then some social requests as well. So of the 15 large banks that actually put out S&P predictions, okay, and you can track the S&P in SPY. Remember, the S&P, when it says 6,000, SPY is at 600. It's trading at 604. Right now in pre-market, it's at 606. And so when they put out their numbers, the 15 largest banks last year, none of them had it over 6,000 for their target for 2024. It continually, they kept moving it up. Some people moved it down. But considering December 2023 forecast for some of the most prominent Wall Street firms, and I will put this in the newsletter today, this actual quote. So these are quotes from the actual largest banks. We are forecasting the S&P 500 to end 2024 at 4,257. That's 425 on SPY. We just went over it. It's trading at 607. The S&P would be fairly valued at 4,750 by the end of 2024. Again, it's at 6,000. The S&P 500 will end 2024 between 4,700 and 4,800. Our year-end 2024 fair value target is 4,850 to 4,950. Nobody had it over 5,000. We're over 6,000. One year-end target for the S&P is 4,940. So again, when you're looking at SPY here and you're looking at this over 6,000 and you're reading all of these experts, quote unquote experts, this is why the number one rule on this podcast is don't listen to a douche on the internet. These guys constantly redo their guidance. And that's the thing. And I put out 8 individual 2025 predictions and a couple of Santa Claus rally trades. And so are these predictions going to be right? My predictions last year were pretty freaking good. And I didn't go crazy on these. I thought they were fairly level-headed. And there are ways for you. And again, it's in the newsletter. So if you just go to Daily Stock Pick newsletter, dailystockpick.substack.com, or you go to the link tree. Okay, the link tree is the place to get everything that is this podcast. And the newsletter is like the 5th one down right there. But if you just go to this, it's the Gary Damas. I went over Nostradamus. Nostradamus, if you didn't know it, Google it. You can look it up in Gemini. By the way, I tried Gemini this weekend, talking to Gemini. It is unbelievable. If you don't have the app for your iPhone, download it. Have a conversation. It is fantastic. But I went over 8 individual 2025 predictions. So I released mine. And you know who might be a reader is Dan Ives. Dan Ives raised his price target on Tesla to $515, as we believe the Trump White House will be a total game changer for the autonomous and AI story for Tesla and Musk over the coming year. Bull case is $650 for 2025. Okay, where is Tesla right now? Because, again, this is probably one of the 8. And if you'd like to read more about Tesla, you can read my prediction as well. And Dan Ives has been more right than wrong when it comes to tech. It's trading at $440 right now in pre-market. Now, we can look at a weekly chart of this one. It has gone absolutely crazy. It's back above those all-time highs at 436. And we're trading there every time. You see the MACD is nuts. The RSI, did you buy at these times when the RSI was down? Did you buy when the 4-hour algorithm told you? Because we can just look at the 4-hour algorithm. Okay, there's one buy here at 250. Did you buy? Maybe you bought at 260. Maybe you bought here at 350. Okay, any one of these where you have confirmation, where the algorithm kind of tells you you should buy it right now. And I can tell you, if I had alerts right here, it would have been December 5th, a buy right here at what, 360, 370? Again, if you set up alerts, you can see the alerts when the algorithm has you in. Right now, you're only seeing when the algorithm has you in and when it has you out. And if you back test this, okay, this is the big thing. When you back test this, you can see down at the bottom here, 420% performance chart versus 149%. Let's just say the 420% is over 24 and a half months. And that is when you trade it. That's the performance. The 149% asset performance is if you buy and hold. Now you might say, well, I don't want to get in at all these times. And you can see it does seem like quite a bit. Over 24 months, it's 21 positions. 21 where you got in and out. That's it, and you're still in this one. Do you want to buy it now? I'd say get Trendspider, get the 4-hour algorithm. Again, you lose this top link right here. I got to take the holiday special out. That will be taken out after this podcast. But the Trendspider deal, the standard is $53 a month. Again, I think if you just use the 4-hour algorithm on this, I think you get your money back by the end of the year, as long as you take some of these really well back-tested trades. And you can do that in Trendspider. It is super, super simple. It's not a plug-and-play kind of a program, but it does take some time setting it up. But once you get used to this, and I can tell you after almost 5 years of using this, once you get used to this program, it is invaluable to your trading message, to yourself, because you take emotion out of that trade. It's super, super simple. So now, this week, just remember, I also want to remind you that the sale ends, the sale ended yesterday, but I have a feeling it might come back. So if you do wind up buying Trendspider, I would tell you, just go and buy it. If another sale pops up, you work with them. They are super fantastic when it comes to actually working with you. It's not a company where, they're going to just ignore you. Their actual contact us button in the bottom right is used, and I've used it plenty of times. And it's not because I'm an affiliate. This was when I was a paying customer. I have experience with this, and I had several people over the weekend say, oh my God, Trendspider with their customer service, it's so good. So what are we looking at this week? We're looking at a Fed rate cut. I mean, it's 100% priced in the market. Again, I said that VOO is up. QQQ is up in pre-market. VOO is 0.32, and the Qs are up almost 0.5%. And yeah, we're up. And if for some reason the Fed decides we're not going to cut rates on Wednesday, expect a pullback. And you know what you do on a pullback? You buy the dip. And you know what? After Wednesday, even if they do cut, I would expect the market to have some exhaustion. Buy the damn dip. Okay, what I want to look at is the SPY candle. And what I want to show you is a yearly candle. Because if we go and look at the yearly candle of SPY right here, look at this. This is 27%. This is the year. If you go back and look at these things, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since 2010, 14 years, you've had 4 years where it's been negative. This is why the eighth wonder of the world is compounding. Because if you just buy something like SPY, if you just buy VOO, if you just buy QQQ, and you just sit there, again, look at that bull market. If you're looking at yearly candles, we are in an absolute bull market. So that's what I want to point out. Again, we can look at these things on a daily basis, but there's another thing going on, okay? The Santa Claus rally is not just a saying, it's backed by numbers. So if you're playing with a new toy, aka Trendspider, Start scanning for opportunities and get trading. This is the Santa Claus rally explained. You can absolutely look at this one and understand the Santa Claus rally. It's the last 2 weeks in the year, and it's the first 2 weeks of the year. This is the Santa Claus rally. You have the best weeks of the year to do this. And if we just pull up seasonality in Trendspider, and you can do this week of the year, and we can go back to 2000 and let's go back 2005. Okay, look at this week. Look at this week, 68% win for the last 19 years. That's the last week of the year. If you look at the first 2 weeks, you got 58% and 68%. So seasonally, these are very good weeks to actually just trade. Okay, couple of things happened over the weekend. We got Palantir added to the NASDAQ 100. You got Super Micro removed. We knew that one. But the one that was a risk, and this is the one where everybody who got Trendspider during this Black Friday sale, and you should have been tracking this. And if you bought here at 403, you're trading right now at 424. Okay, 403 was the buy right there. You got out with a nice 192% gain. This is the new entrance into the QQQ. It's MicroStrategy. Okay, and this would have paid for probably your yearly subscription. I would guess that this is going to explode on the open. Look at how the MACD reset. Look at how the RSI is down at 54. And there's supposed 10-for-1 split. I think it's going to happen. I think they announced it. I just couldn't find anything on the internet about it. But Trendspider is indicating it's a 10-for-1 split. I think this was capitulation. The Bollinger Bands are cinched up. You're on the top of the 9-day. I think this is the catalyst that gets it up there. And if you didn't want to do this one, you can do MSTX or MSTU. And look, MSTX, you got in at 108. Where are you trading right now in pre-market? You're at 113. 113. Could have paid for the entire year's subscription to Trendspider. I just want to point that out because when you backtest this, MSTX has only been out there for 120 days. What do you make in the algorithm? When the algorithm told you to get in here at, let's see, it was at 17. Well, let's move this up. 1756 made you 224%. When the algorithm told you to get in here at 62, made you 75%. When the algorithm told you in here to get in at 108, when the Bollinger Band cinched up, and the MACD settled down for 120 days, it is 3 trades. Okay, it's only 3 trades. So I'm not going to tell you that you win 2 out of the 3 because that's a 67% win. But I am going to tell you that you make 453%. And you have the safety of the 4-hour algorithm. It's not always going to make you money. You will lose money. But when you backtest these things, it works really, really well. Let's go in and look at MicroStrategy. Okay, this one you can backtest for 2 years. You could backtest this one for 10 years. MicroStrategy, the 4-hour algorithm, over the last 2 years makes you 2,377%. Okay, if you just bought and held, you make 1,952%. So buying and holding doesn't work with and you have the safety of the 4-hour algorithm. And when it gets added to QQQs, like we talked about the possibility of it, that's a good thing. Now, when's Michael Saylor selling? Never. Absolutely never. He puts this up. I will see you at the moon. So that, again, we are dealing with some type of supply-demand issue. I put my my prediction in there in the newsletter. You can go read about it. Now, notable analyst calls this week: AMD, Adobe, utility stocks. This is the week in review. You can go and look at them, and then go look at how the stocks performed. But I found this interesting because there were a couple in here that I looked at. It was interesting. Nothing that I would say, hey, oh my God, I've got to go look at. But what I want to do now is I want to look at, and I will put this in the newsletter, and I did put it in the newsletter. Let's see. We're going to go to dailystockpick.substack.com because I did put it in the newsletter. I think it may have been this one where I put it in there. Let's see. I think I'm going to go down. No, maybe it wasn't. Let's go to, we're going to go to this one. Maybe it was this one. There's a couple of, there was a day where I had a look at the top stocks. Here it is. These screenshots, 2024 and 2023. So there's a bunch of top stocks in 2024 and 2023 that I want to go over. I will post everything in the newsletter. Let's take a look at them. Steve Kress is going to be doing his top stocks for 2025. I plan on buying them. I will go over exactly my strategy of how I'm going to buy them when he releases them. But again, let's go over a couple of them. One of them that was up, let's see, 605%. This is a top stock in 2023. It's MOD. And this is Modine Manufacturing. Okay. This stock, when you go and look at it, we're going to look at a weekly chart there. My note on it, the weekly chart shows the price goes between the 21-day weekly. When it goes under that 21-day, it's a buy. Okay. Look at that one. When it goes under the 21-day, you want to buy it. And where is it? Is it under the 21-day? Kind of trading just almost up there, right at the 9, right at the 21. The 21's at 123. It's at 132. Okay, let's go over to Seeking Alpha and let's look at MOD. Because MOD right here, let's see, just moved to a buy in the quant. And it's mostly on the revisions. It seems while it's changed on 11.4 to a C+, realize there are only 7 analysts. So when you look at revisions on this, okay, there are 1 up, 3 down, 5 up on revenues, 1 down. And so that's what I want to point out to you is when you look at these grades and it is a buy in the quant. When did it go to a buy? Just recently it went to a buy. And that's probably because of those revisions at C. Because when you go down here, it was an A at the beginning of November. And you can just look at these. Now, when you go to Wall Street and you look at their price target is 147. Understand, there are only 7 analysts that look at this. So their actual price target, 147, is 11% upside from where you are now. I like that one. I like it to look at. Another one that was up in 2023, SMCI. I don't have to go over SMCI. SMCI is a total shit show. Honest to God, if you want to trade this, go ahead and trade it. But I don't have to go over it. Personally, I won't touch this until an auditor signs off on their financials. Trade it if you want. It absolutely has some volatility in here if you want to go and look at it. And the 4-hour algorithm could make you some money, but it just got you out with a 58% gain. In this shit show of a stock. Trade it if you want. I'm not going to go over it, but in 2023, this was a top stock up 436%. Now, the next one, JXN. This is Jackson Financial. I think this was one of the ones that somebody had asked me about, and I thought I liked it. We're going to look at a weekly chart on this one because this one's interesting because the 4-hour does show it turning around. Weekly chart shows a pullback, and there's 5 analysts that cover this. We're going to go over here and look at it. I think it's still a strong buy if I'm not mistaken. It's a hold in the quant, and it just recently went to a hold if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's been a hold for a while. But this is a top stock that was up, let's see, 215% in 2023. The quant has it as a hold, but the grades are great except for profitability. You don't have a 200-day on the weekly yet. This is still a fairly new stock. And so that 50-day, if that 50-day is going to provide some support, it might be interesting. Every time it's dipped below the 21-day, just like Modine, it's kind of been a buy. And you're under that 50-day right now. Take a little bit of, JXN. Weekly chart shows a pullback. You don't have to have a 200-day weekly chart. I don't know that I necessarily love this one, but I do think if they get that profitability, when you look at the profitability, 21% EBITDA margin, that's the issue. It might be an interesting financial to play in the new year because we do know financials will be a strong sector in the new year. So next one is MNSO. MNSO. This one, and again, I'm looking at mostly weekly charts because these were top stock picks in 2023. This one in 2023 was up 136%. And when you go and look at MNSO, the stock chart, the weekly doesn't look all that great. Again, you look at 2022 and you look at 2023, it looks great, but it's kind of come back down and it's recently gapped up a little bit. Are we going for another move above 29? Well, when you go and look at MNSO in the quant and in Seeking Alpha, it's a buy. It's a buy. What worries me about this one is when I go and look at the virtual analyst report, we talk about buying good companies with good products, with good valuations, with good, all of that stuff, okay? What I looked at when I saw the concerns raised by analysts on Seeking Alpha, Minnesota's management team has faced scrutiny due to past controversies and a lack of reputable track record, raising concerns about potential non-shareholder-friendly activities. That makes me stay away from this. Even though it's a buy, even though, the valuation isn't nuts, even though everything rates well, even though this looks like it might point towards a one, I don't know that I'd necessarily look at this one to buy long term. And when I run the 4-hour algorithm, the 4-hour algorithm makes you 31% versus 109% buy and hold. You see this most recent earnings where it popped up. Could be an interesting play, but do I feel comfortable buying and holding this one? No. Next one is VRNA. And again, these are the top stocks from 2023. VRNA was up 64%. This is a healthcare stock. And if we just go and look at VRNA, I'm going to read you my notes on VRNA. VRNA is an interesting weekly as it's done better in 2024 than 2023. Again, this was just one. If we go and look at a weekly, look at that 2024. Okay, this is June. That's just June. If you go back to January in 2024, this was trading at 19. You're trading at 41 right now. So in 2023, this one was up 54%. Think it's interesting. Then PDD, I said, if you look at PDD, this is Pinduoduo. This is a Chinese stock. And this is very clearly, if you go to the weekly, this is very clearly a top right here at about 150. Now it's trading at 102, right at the 200-day. You could take a chance. It's a China stock. I don't necessarily consider this one a great chance, but it's clearly several times run all the way up to that 150. The valuation isn't nuts. When you go and look at it in Seeking Alpha and you look at this one, it's a hold in the quant. It's a strong buy from Wall Street. And there are 45 analysts that cover this. Their average price target right at that 150, which is a 50% move. For me, I actually think Bitcoin is a safer bet than this, to be honest with you. That's where I would put it. And the final one, VLO. VLO was up, let's see, it was up 10%. But I don't like energy. It was taken out of the Alpha. VLO was taken out of the Alpha Picks portfolio. So I'd stay away from that. And again, those are the 2023 stocks. Let's look at the top stocks for 2024. When we look at the top stock, it's AAPL. So he picked this, in November 2023 as one of his top stocks for 2024. It is up an astounding 907%. An astounding 907% in 1 year. Okay. AAPL, the 4-hour algorithm, just got you out with a 243% profit. 243% profit in that trade from September 11th all the way up until last week. Okay. The weekly chart, when you look at the weekly chart, it looks extremely extended. Do I want you buying up here? Well, there are 25 analysts that cover this one. Let's go look at AAPL because AAPL, the quant has it as a hold. When was it the last buy, a strong buy on the quant? It was October 4th at $139. So that was the last time it was a strong buy. So it doesn't mean that the quant is telling you to get out. It tells you to hold it. And if you were holding it, if you bought it during this time when it was a strong buy and you've held it during this time, you're doing pretty well. There are, let's see, I think there's, if you go to Wall Street, there are 25 analysts that cover this one. Okay, 25 analysts that cover this. They say it's worth $328. This is why I think it's a little bit stretched right now. Until they come out, you have earnings behind you. And ever since those earnings, at the time of the earnings, you opened up at 161 and you've doubled your money. So right now, I would say it doesn't make sense to look at this one. But when you run the 4-hour algorithm, you win 81% of the time. wait until the algorithm gets you back in. And that's how you can use Trendspider. Does this gap down here at 222 to 173 get filled? It could. It could. It's not likely, but it could. So CLS is another one. This is Celestica. And this is an Alpha Picks play as well. This is a strong buy in the quant. There are 11 analysts that cover this one. Now, I want to point out, 11 analysts is not a ton. Their average stock price is $79. That's a 20% downside. But over the last 90 days, there's 9 that have brought their earnings per share up and 8 that have brought their revenue up. Nobody's brought them down. So when you go and you look at the summary, are we dealing with short interest? No. This isn't a huge company. It's only $11 billion market cap. So could it go higher? Absolutely, it could go higher. So you want to read that report. Let's go look at the chart. When we look at CLS on this one, has the short term reset itself? I bought way back here because this is an alpha pick. Okay, I bought here on October 24th and I bought here on November 18th. I bought both of them and I added to my position. This is a personal holding as well as an alpha pick holding. And I still like it. Look at how the MACD has reset down there. The RSI is at 67. It's a little bit overbought. When you go to the weekly, it is extremely extended. Am I buying here? Probably not here, but I want it on my radar. My note is this is still a strong buy in the quant. Wall Street's price target is 20% below. There are 11 analysts that cover it, and the revisions rating is an A. Okay, the weekly chart shows the Bollinger Bands opening up and 4-hour has you in the trade. So look at those Bollinger Bands. You're still trading at the top of it. You're a bit extended, but I ain't pulling out of this one. Now the next one is MOD. This was up 134% year to date. Okay, MOD. This is the same one that was the top pick in 2023. We just went over it. This again, the algorithm has you out. The algorithm doesn't really work on this one, but it wins 43% of the time. It just inhibits you from buying and holding. Buying and holding is the play on MOD. The next one, Rolls-Royce, RYCEY. It's a foreign stock. I don't like it. I just stay out of foreign stocks. I don't like it. There's usually fees when you trade them, but it's Rolls-Royce, RYCEY. Now the next one, Meta. I don't have to go over Meta. You know why? It's in the core portfolio. You know why? I hold it. You know why? It's an alpha pick. Meta, I shouldn't have to go over this one. Wall Street's price target, $649. This is still a very good stock. The only problem with this is when Zuckerberg spends a fortune. But when you go and you look at Wall Street, they have a $649 price target. That's 4% upside. Now, when you look at the 4-hour algorithm, it got you in at 565. So if you want to look at this one as buys, it got you in at 565. You're doing really well with this. Just add to it. The next one, Abercrombie and Finch, ANF. This one in 2024, let's see. ANF was up 71%. Now, my notes on this one, interesting. On the weekly chart, notice how the previous all-time highs provide a ledge of support. And you can see that. Look at that. Okay, we talk about the support and resistance. That's support. Look at that all-time high that got hit here in March. And it provides support. And you're looking at that. Where are you trading right now? In pre-market, you're at 142. Okay, that support is right there at 134. Look at how on the weekly, the MACD has reset itself. Look at how the RSI is at 48. If you go and run the 4-hour algorithm, which makes you 307%, you can see you're not in yet, but you will be getting in soon. This wins 40% of the time. It's only 20 trades over the last 2 years. So if you buy and hold this one, you're up 492%. If you trade the algorithm, you're up 307%. You may say, well, why, if I buy and hold, why wouldn't I just buy and hold? That's your choice. You don't have to use the algorithm, but I will argue the algorithm gives you very good entries on the trade. And again, if you're going to pump back up here to 171 and you're going to get an entry at 144, 145, why not take it? What's interesting about this one is when I go and look at the analyst reports on this, my notes on the weekly chart, notice how the previous one, the MACD is reset, this is an alpha pick with a Wall Street target of 186. Yeah, take a look. 186, 30% upside, and there's 10 analysts that cover it. Okay, the only knock against it is the valuation. And you might say, why is the valuation's a D? Okay, it's behind my head, but you can see right there, the valuation's a D. There's the factor grades. And so you pull up the virtual analyst report in Seeking Alpha, and you just go to valuation. The valuation is mixed. While ANF's PE of 13 is attractive compared to the sector, the median of 18, indicating a more affordable stock, its price-to-book ratio is 5, significantly higher than the sector's 2, suggesting a more expensive stock. Take your pick. Take your pick. When did the quant have it as the last time it was a buy? It was right here. It was at 137. Okay, it was at 162. It was a buy. Then it switched to a hold. But if you bought at 162 and you're sitting there holding, I think you're going to do fine because I think this is setting up for a move higher. It's just my thought. The next one, INSPY. This one is a financial. It was up 51%. The next one is GCT. And GCT, it was, but this is an issue. I think Steve brought it up in his conference where he was going over all of these. He said, hey, GCT, he still likes it. He still likes it. The Wall Street price target is 52. Personally, I don't trust it. Okay, it's kind of like SMCI. I just don't trust it. This is at $847 million market cap. $847 million market cap. I think this was the interesting one. When I bring up the virtual analyst reports on this and I read through it, when I went down to the bear thesis concerns, GigaCloud stock has been volatile and concerns over potential U.S. tariff increases and operations in China could hinder its performance until more clarity arises. I want to stay away from it. This is how you use Seeking Alpha and Trendspider together to use these things. Okay? So am I planning on buying the top stock picks on 2025 when they come out? You bet your ass I'm buying the top 2025 stock picks when they come out. You just look at 2023 and 2024. They are up. So how am I going to buy them? I'll go over it later. But I like the weekly charts, because these will be long-term buy and holds. So I like to get in when the weekly charts tell me to get in. I like when the 4-hour algorithm tells me to get in. But I am going to continue to buy these. And that's my plan. Okay? So we can see that one. Now there's the notable analyst. Let's talk about the AI train continues with Mizuho thinking that Microsoft and Meta are among the leaders in monetizing generative AI in 2025. These are both core portfolio holdings. And I would argue you should have them in your portfolio. Now let's talk about some other stocks that I like, that are top stocks for 2025. Top Wall Street analyst believes in long-term prospects. This is from TipRanks. Okay, this is on CNBC, but it's from TipRanks. They put up GitLab, GTLB. Let's go and look at the chart of GTLB. I like this one. Okay, they do some other ones, but I'll show you this one in particular because this is one that I actually like. GLTB, you make 86% in the 4-hour algorithm. Okay, positions over 24 months, 21. You win 43% of the time, but your average win is 18%. Just got you out with a 16% gain. MACD resetting, RSI resetting. When we go and look at the weekly, you can see that $65 has been a resistance level. So if you buy down here at 56, you can expect to get to that 65. Not a bad one. You can dollar cost average your way down to the 50-day. And that's the way I would play this one. And I like this one. Again, they're saying it's the top stock pick for 2025. Reiterated buying it, boosted their price target from 63 to 86. They believe it's going to get over this. So we can go in and look at GTLB here on Seeking Alpha. And you can see it's a strong buy. It's a strong buy. And how long has it been a strong buy for? Just 3 days since it was 61. And it's been going down. So you get it at a discount. You get it at a discount. What does Wall Street think? They think it's a strong buy. 29 analysts that cover this. Their average price target is 79. And again, Tip ranks it's a top pick. Now, MongoDB, I'm not a super fan of. There are a lot of people that are. I just don't like how it reacted to recent earnings. So I would skip that one. Sentinel-1, I picked my winners in cybersecurity. And I picked my winners as Palo Alto and CrowdStrike. So again, when I look at this article, I'm like, ooh, I just found GitLab. I'm going to add it to a watch list. Now, what are some other top stocks for 2025? Apple. Apple is named by Morgan Stanley their top pick. If you didn't see the news this weekend, Apple is a top pick. They are planning on foldable iPhones and foldable iPads. So both will be foldable. In fact, I just bought my parents 2 new iPads with the M2 chip for Christmas. Last year, I bought them 2 new iPhones for Christmas. I am adding to my stock price there. Yeah, I'm talking my book. But you know what I'm not talking my book on? NVIDIA, Broadcom, and Marvel are among Bank of America's top chips for 2025. You need to have these things in your portfolio. And again, if you find these top picks, then you can go and use Trendspider and you can use Seeking Alpha. Now, here's the entire thing, okay? Seeking Alpha Premium. If you want the bundle, and the bundle comes with Premium, which you just saw me use the virtual analyst reports, you saw me use the quant system, and you saw me evaluate stocks that way. You can do that with Seeking Alpha Premium. There is nothing on my screen that you saw that doesn't come with Seeking Alpha Premium. Okay, the additional portion is Alpha Picks. And Alpha Picks is a portfolio that is 2 stocks per month, once on the 1st and once on the 15th. In fact, we're going to get a new one today, I believe, December 16th, because yesterday was a Sunday. So we'll get a new one today. You just buy when they tell you to buy, and the key is they tell you when to sell. It's a rules-based portfolio. It's data-driven. So when they tell you to sell, you just go ahead and sell. It is simple, and I spent 8 months trying to pick the stocks that I thought were winners when they announced them. It didn't work. What did I do? I wound up buying the entire portfolio. I bought the entire portfolio back in October. I'm up like 15, 20% when I bought the entire portfolio. It has been a huge winner, and I show you how to do that. So if you want the subscription to that, I would urge you, go to Linktree and go to this second one. It is the bundle. The bundle, you save $159, and I would urge you to get both. If you want just one, you can get, and you want to do your own research, get Seeking Alpha Premium. You save $30 off your membership. That's the third link down here. Okay. And if you just want Alpha Picks, you don't even want to think about it. You just want a proven portfolio that makes you, over the last 2 years, since July 1st, 2022, 2.5 years, you've made 176% versus the S&P that is up 60%. You have nearly tripled the S&P in this portfolio. And yes, SMCI was in here, and they made a tremendous killing off of SMCI, and they told you when to get out. And there's Modine, and we went over a lot of those. Abercrombie and Finch. There is Sprouts Farmers Market, which I didn't buy, and then was up like 100% over the next week or two. Again, these are data-driven stocks that their team investigates, and then they tell you when to sell. So those are the 3 tools that I sell. There's Trendspider, and then there's Premium and Alpha Picks. That's it. I'm an affiliate with all of them, but I use them personally, and I was a paying customer before I was an affiliate. So I don't try and sell you a course. I don't try and sell you anything. I sell you these tools to try and help you make money. And that's it. Let's go to the social request. John Purcell from, let's see, this is from Instagram. Gary, I really like your show and listen daily. What is your opinion of quantum stocks and which ones are the best? Are there long-term investments or are these just a gimmick? My broker recently suggested that I purchase TEM. Do you know anything about these companies? So the quantum stocks, I found this link, open with Google Chrome. I found this link for the quantum stocks, and I'll put this in the newsletter. And this is the quantum stocks ranked by the quant, and that's it. And you can see, QUBT, RGIT, IONQ, QBTS, GOOG. Let's look at TEM. What is TEM? I don't even know. This is Tempus AI. Let's look at it. The quant does not rate this one. Or it does. Yeah, it's not covered by the quant. It is a $6 billion market cap company. It looks like it just IPO'd back here in June. So we'll go and look at the chart on this one, but let's look at the financials, because right now they're making $640 million in revenue. So they actually have revenues, but when you go to valuation, it's not profits. And so that's where you want it. Price to book is 118. That is incredibly expensive. Incredibly expensive. So this is one of those that's not covered by the quant. If we go to Wall Street, there's 10 analysts that cover this. And when we look at it, their average price target is $59. It's up 50%. So let's just go and look at TEM and Trendspider, and let's see if the 4-hour algorithm actually makes you money on this one. We look at it, and no, the 4-hour algorithm doesn't work, and it's recently just fallen off a cliff. There's a large amount of volume right here, and it's just fallen off a cliff. And because it's new, you're not going to have a lot of moving averages here. This is where I kind of get, okay, should we really be in this one? I don't know. I mean, for me, I want to stay in something that's a little bit older. I mean, you can look at QUBT, you can look at RGTI, that was up like 50%. IONQ is completely stretched. QBTS and Google. I mean, don't forget, if the one that has the quantum chip that actually just went back in time is Google. This is Google. This isn't a company that has a small reputation. It's Google. And will they win the quantum computing race? I don't know, but I would not bet against them. If I had to bet on Google, I'd bet on Google. So honestly, John, I think you can, Warren Buffett tells that story. And if you listen to it, you remember me telling it. Warren Buffett tells a story about how when the car industry actually started, there were like 3,000 companies that actually did cars. You had to pick 3 for long term. 3 of 3,000. The actual play was shorting horses, not buying a car company. So it's not about buying into those little ones and saying, oh my God, this is going to be the winner. It's more about picking maybe a sector and saying, you know what, Google's got its tentacles in there. They might win. They might just buy up these smaller companies. And you could put, say you have $1,000 to put into this. Put $100, into, one of the QBTS or one of those, or TEM. Then blame your analyst, your broker, about that. From Reddit, Random Lettuce. I think this is Chris. That New Jersey, New York drone news is crazy. Early signals right now say that drone stocks will be theme in 2025. These signals are more obvious than you think. Trump Jr. joined the board of UMAC and the stock jumped 100%. That's a convenient board member for a company trying to sell the government domestic and abroad. Our cat already has DOD stocks. I think, Chris is more talking about, hey, if you're not used to these kinds of things, I wouldn't necessarily get into them and say, oh my God, our cat is up 20% today. Our cat is up 20% today. In the last 1 month, this is up 83%. Okay, it's a theme and is one that you could absolutely trade if you wanted to trade. I go back to it. Do I think that this is going to be a winner? I don't know. Nobody knows. Algorithm just got you out with 139% gain. That's fantastic. The algorithm over 24 months on RCAT, it makes you 771%. If you just bought and held, you're up 611%. Why wouldn't you just trade this one with some type of safety? Again, you can see how it gets you in and out. Over the recent months, it seems like you just buy and hold and you would be fine, but you pulled back. And then you have earnings, I guess, today or tomorrow. So I think RCAT is fine. It's a hold from the quant. And the reason it's a hold from the quant is the profitability. It sucks. It sucks. And the company, it's not a big company. This is a company with a market cap of $621 million. And if you go to the UMAC, which, Don Jr. is on the board of, this market cap is $92 million. Okay, go down to the local McDonald's down the street from you. That actually makes more revenue in a year than this company's market cap. And so, again, you have to be smart about where you get into. Chris is a very, a super, super talented person, trader, and I know him, but don't get sucked in by somebody who's saying, hey, this is going to be the one, because you got to know what you're doing. And yet, Unusual Machines up 17%. I wouldn't put it past this being, pumped up. So you can trade it. But if you don't know charts, if you don't know how to look at a chart and what time frame you're trading on, don't think that you're getting into these. Again, it's just a little bit of a, make sure you know what you're doing before you get into it. Now, some cross-ups here. MicroStrategy. We talked about this one. This one is a buy. Let's see. In MicroStrategy, it is up at 425. 425. Algorithm got you in at 403. That is one. CrowdStrike. Algorithm got you in on CrowdStrike. These are the scans. And I put these at the end of the newsletter. CrowdStrike got you in at 319. Looks like it could be going for another run. Look how that MACD reset itself. The RSI came down to the 50 level. Could be going for another run. Then you got GM, Celestica, CLS. We talked about CLS as one of the tops of 2024. CLS, the algorithm just got you in again. Okay, got you in here at 66. Gets you in again. And look how the MACD reset itself. Is it going for another run? Is it going to bump over that $100 mark? Could be. So again, remember, everything's on the link tree. If you want Trendspider, you use that top link. Get it. $53 a month. If you want the Seeking Alpha bundle, I would suggest this one. Get it for $159 savings. It is a great. All of those three things are fantastic tools, and it's how I manage my stuff. So that's why I suggest it, because I think people will make money on it. If you have any questions, hit me up. Again, my email is right up there on the link tree in the upper right. So let me know. Facebook group's up there. Everything's up there. Okay.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.